This is our weekly market update, where we start in the US, across to Europe and Asia, and then in Australia, covering commodities and crypto along the way. At one level, markets have continued to chug higher, touching records earlier in the week, supported by the AI boom, hopes for US rate cuts, and the expectation that tariffs will stick at close to current, if now elevated levels. Though, by Friday, dark clouds were on the horizon. The MSCI Global Index was down 0.39% across the week, thanks to a 0.5% fall on Friday. The Stoxx 600 was down 1.99% across the week. The S&P 500 dropped 0.64% on Friday, but was down just 0.1% across the week, while the Nasdaq fell more than 1%, and the S&P 500 Technology Index fell 1.6% on Friday. The Dow slid from recent highs. The ASX 200 lost 0.1% on Friday, but closed up 2.6% for the month, after an increase of 0.1% across the week. But below the surface, there are questions to be asked. Bank of America's Global Risk Love Indicator has reached the 93rd percentile of its historical range since 1987, signaling early signs of market euphoria, according to a recent report, primarily driven by low cash levels, reduced volatility measures, tightened credit spreads, and a decreased put-call ratio, suggesting investors may be taking on more risk than usual in current market conditions. And talking of risk, the US money supply hit a record $22.1 trillion in July, while total US public debt rose again to $37.283 trillion, meaning a greater share of taxpayer funds needs to go to pay interest. And we also note that longer-term bond yields continue to steepen, signaling risk and inflation concerns ahead, while markets are being driven slavishly by more passive funds tracking the market. In the US, it is close now to 60%. That means movements in stocks, up or down, will be magnified. And then we have to talk about Trump, who appears to see himself not so much as an American president, but as America's chief executive, with the various branches of government, law enforcement, the bureaucracy, the Fed, under his direction. In isolation, Trump's fights with universities such as Harvard, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and apparently crime-ridden cities like Washington, D.C. and Chicago look, well, like little episodes of chaos. But if you zoom out, you can see that the apparent willingness of Trump to break down the historical barriers between the White House and these institutions are becoming clearer. I have the right to do anything I want to do, Trump said on Monday.